I know that there's a few of you on here that work for someone. So you guys actually physically go into a job, or you work from home, but you have a typical 9-to-5 job for corporate America and have, say, a 7-to-4 or 8-to-5 type job. And you may be thinking, I don't need this. This isn't for me. This training is not for me. But I promise you that you'll get something out of it. It's funny, so many of us don't just actually work the hours that we're told to, right? We don't, say our schedule is 7-to-4. That's been my schedule most often in my industry, and that's not actually what anyone works. Everybody works overtime. Everybody does. And it's just kind of expected. It's really important for you to revisit how often you are actually working overtime and how much you're actually willing to work overtime. So sometimes you don't mind it. You can work a half an hour every day or an hour every day, and you actually enjoy the extra income that you get from overtime. But especially if you're in a salary position and you don't get paid extra for working overtime, oh, it's got to stop. It's got to stop, mama. It has to stop. So if you're in that position, then you are a perfect candidate for Tim Ferriss's, I believe that's his name, 4-Hour Workweek book. That's a wonderful book, wonderful resource. I enjoyed every second of reading that book. And I think that's a great way. It shows you how to really wean yourself into an at-home position and then being able to really work from anywhere and work as little as 4 hours a week, and just doing it slowly and over time in this really systematic way. He's really sarcastic and funny, and it's a great listen. So if you guys have not listened to or read the 4-Hour Workweek, it's a great read. I actually just recently found it. I wish I found it a long time ago before I actually landed myself at-home position. I've been working at home for 3 years now. So for those of you who actually work from home, I talk to so many of you. Seriously, so many of you guys talk to me when we get on the phone and I say, okay, so what's your hours? You say, I don't know, nap time and after the kids go to bed. And I'm like, okay, so I get that. Hey, I understand the nap time hustle and bedtime hustle and trying to squeeze in work either in the morning before everyone wakes up or at night after everyone goes to sleep. And that's fine, that's wrong, but it needs to be established. And this is why. We already carry so many things in our head all day long, every single day. And if we're not planning, we're not doing any of those things, it's worse. But even if you are planning, even if you are keeping lists and having systems in place for you already, if you don't have scheduled work hours, it doesn't matter how much you have written down that you need to do or how well planned your systems are for, say, marketing or launching a new program or whatever you guys are doing. If you guys don't have set work hours, you're still not going to be present when you're outside of work, because you don't know when the next time you're going to get to work is, and you don't know how long you're going to be working, and you don't know if someone's going to come and interrupt that time and you're going to get pulled away. You don't know when you're going to get to your to-do list, and that's not an okay feeling. You do not want to live with that feeling. If you guys understand that, give me an amen in the comments, please. But seriously, you guys need to know when you're going to be working, how often, which days are you going to take off, and really stick to it, because it's going to allow yourself to be mentally present with your friends, with your family, and with your clients or customers that you actually spend time talking to. So I really encourage you guys to make sure that you know what your hours are. Are you going to work 3 days a week and you're going to batch, 4 hours here, 3 hours here, 5 hours here, or are you going to work the same amount of hours every single day? Are you going to work on just emails one day? Are you going to work on just your content creation one day? Are you going to work on marketing one day? Or are you going to split it an hour for each thing, throughout the week? You need to really start getting to that point. But before you can get to that point of what you're actually going to do in your hours, you have to know how many hours you have available, agree to them with yourself or with your boss. If your boss does not agree with you not working overtime, say you work for a 9-to-5 job and your boss doesn't agree, then you need to revisit your workload with your boss, and you need to say, okay, hey, this is what I have going on. I understand that you need me to get this and this and this done, and this is why you want me to work overtime. But this is my current workload, and go over it with them. Tell them, if I do these things are going to suffer. Why don't you prioritize my work, and let's see if we can delegate my work to someone else? Or revisit your job description, and maybe you need to be a salary employee. Maybe they need to pay you just to get the job done versus trading dollars for hours. Maybe you need to set something like that up. So this is so important, whether you work for someone or you work for yourself, that you know exactly how much you want to work, what you're willing to do. You set that up, you have a schedule for yourself, and you don't break it. And tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about how to communicate boundaries around your time schedule. I get so excited that I will seriously talk to you until like midnight if we start talking about boundaries. So I won't do that to you. Plus, I'm really tired, so we won't get into all of that. But make sure that you have your established work hours. If you guys don't have it, think about it tonight. Let me know tomorrow if you've established what your work hours are going to be, how often you're able to work, which days are you going to work, and are you going to do it in blocks, or are you going to do it an hour here, an hour here, an hour there? I don't suggest that because it's not productive. It does take about 15 minutes for you to get back into the groove every time you start working, again, after stopping. So if you spread out, say you have 2 or 3 hours a day, and you spread it out into 3 separate hour chunks, well, really, you're not getting that full amount of time. You're really only getting about a half an hour each time. Well, 45 minutes each time, really, because it takes you 15 minutes just to get rolling. So be really strategic about that. Think about when you're the most productive. When are you the most energetic? When can you give your best work? And if you have kids at home that aren't in daycare, when is the best time for you to utilize that time? Which that's something I'm sure you're already thinking about. But the other areas I see so often when I talk to clients, or when I talk to even my girlfriends that I catch up with, and I ask them, oh, when do you work? And, how do you get that done around the kids? And they're just like, I don't know, I work whenever I can, and for however long that my kids will let me, or people will leave me alone. And I promise you that's not the way to go. You don't have to do that. And it's so much easier, and your mind is so much more present and rested when you know when you're going to be working next. So you can put all your tasks aside when you're done with your scheduled time, and just know that, okay, I'm going to pick this back up in 2 hours or tomorrow at this time. And it just really allows you to turn off that business mind, which is so hard to do, especially if you're in a new position or if you are doing multiple positions at once. So I hope that encourages you guys, that you guys can really think about this, and think about also what I was talking about with batching your time, so that you don't have that inefficiency of getting back into the groove because you're breaking up your time too much. And that's really all I have for you tonight. And I can't wait to see you in the morning and talk more about communicating boundaries around these times and just kind of taking this further. But I hope you guys have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.